I'm Will.
And I'm Bianca.
And you're at the Federways place.
We're just a couple that likes giving relationship and family advice, even though we're not licensed to do so.
So hit the like and subscribe to follow for more content.
All right, so we've got a couple of stories for y'all from Reddit. And today the theme is unwanted house guests and people overstepping their boundaries. All right, first one. Guest from my party stole something from my house, then came back to complain about it. So this literally happened just a few weeks ago, and I'm still baffled. I hosted a party at my place. It was just friends, food, drinks, and good vibes. I knew most of the people well, but a few were just the plus ones of friends. I tried to be a good host, so I told everyone to make themselves at home and to feel free to relax and grab what they needed. Well, apparently, that was taken way too literally. Flash forward to a few days ago. My doorbell rings. I check the camera and see a woman standing there that I barely recognize. Through the mic, she says, "Hey, I came to your party the other day and I just wanted to ask. I took this box of chocolates from your house, but when I opened it, there was just a piece of fruit inside. Like, why would you keep fruit in a chocolate box?"
Why are you taking items from my house without my permission?
Because I wanted a piece of fruit in my chocolate box. Like, I was so confused. I told her, "Wait, are you saying you took something from my house without asking?" She goes, "Well, yeah, but you told everyone to make themselves comfortable. You said it's your house and we should treat it like our own. So I figured it was fine. I didn't think it was a big deal, but I was really disappointed when it wasn't chocolates. I was looking forward to eating it with my boyfriend when we got home." Her boyfriend is one of my closest friends from way back in college. Like, what? She stole something from my house and now standing at my door complaining about what was inside. For the record, that box was an old gift box I reused to store some dried mangoes. I didn't want to get squished. I wasn't even in the kitchen, or it wasn't even in the kitchen. It was on a shelf in my hallway. I told her, "Make yourself comfortable. It doesn't mean go shopping through my stuff and help yourself to whatever looks nice." She looked genuinely shocked that I was even a little confused. She kept saying, "No, I'm confused because you can see this is a chocolate box. I took it home and what I find is bloody fruit." I just shook my head thinking, how did we get here? Because, what?
Make yourself at home is really just a phrase we say.
Right. It's just like niceties, like
good morning.
Oh, yes.
Good afternoon. How are you? How has everything been? It doesn't mean go stealing things from my house and then complain about it later. I could have been doing anything with this box. It could have been.
It was literally his box. His.
It could have been. Look, it could have been. The gummies.
Mm-hmm.
And now you just.
She really would have been confused.
Exactly. So it's like, how dare you get upset that you touched something that wasn't yours? You're in a house that's not yours. It would have been one thing if she ate it there and was like, "Oh, can I have this candy also?" Or "What's in this box?" But to just take it and then come with, "How dare you be," it's
how dare you replace it with something else? See, here's the thing. When the story started, I thought it was like a sealed box of chocolates. I didn't think it was a box that was already open because he said that he used the box for other...
Even worse.
Yeah, other things.
Even worse. It could have been anything. Literally.
Why would you take something that's already open? Like, I wouldn't want to eat that because I don't know what's in it. I don't know your cleanliness, any kind of habits, germs exist. I just wouldn't have felt comfortable taking an already open. First off, I wouldn't have taken the box, period, much less one that was already open.
What we learned about this house guest is clearly
don't invite them nowhere.
What makes them comfortable is stealing.
Ooh.
So make yourself at home. Oh, let me steal some things.
Like,
no telling what else you went through.
No, how specific do you have to be to say, make yourself comfortable, but don't take anything from my house?
Right. Go sit down in that corner,
Why is this where we're at right now?
Totally overstepping boundaries. Yeah, no. What kind of story was this?
This was just a rant about house guests.
Yeah, no. Stupid. Terrible house guests.
All right. Moving on to the next one. My entitled neighbor demanded I stop using my own balcony. I've lived in my apartment for a few months now, and my little balcony is my favorite spot. I sit out there with coffee, read, water my plants, nothing wild. The other day, my neighbor knocks and tells me I need to stop using it because her baby's room faces mine, and apparently my presence is disturbing them. She said I'm being inconsiderate for moving around and existing near her window. Girl, what?
So paying rent and using one of your rooms that you pay rent for is disturbing your kid. Not you're too noisy. Can you keep it down? Living here. Then you gotta put towards some of this rent then. You need me to
Look, that sounds like a neighbor problem and not OP's problem, because first off, if you felt that it's so disturbing for someone to be living and existing outside your child's bedroom window, you might need to go find a house in one of those large neighborhoods where there's so much distance between each home. Because, ma'am, if you renting and you in an apartment next to mine,
or a condo or any kind of loft,
that's a you problem.
Yeah, usually people that get those types of they wanted that closeness,
or at least they understand.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a little bit of noise, but okay. So let's keep going. I don't blast music or talk on the phone. I literally just sit. Now she's been giving me death glares every time I'm outside. Yesterday, I caught her filming me from behind her curtain. I waved. She slammed it shut. Is using my own balcony now considered antisocial behavior? Or am I living next to a drama magnet? Drama magnet.
Yeah, definitely. What's that old saying? Bye, Felicia. Because I pay rent. You're not disturbing the peace. Let me exist, man. I mean, a friendly neighbor would just say, if it's nap time, you could say, hey, they're down for their nap. Can I offer you something, so you can, not use this room or something like that?
Even I think that's still a little bit wild. I'm in my own home, okay? I'm on my own balcony. She says she doesn't play music. She's not even on the phone. She's just out there silent. It's just her mere existence of being seen, on the balcony is a disturbance. I think there's more to it.
Yeah, the baby doesn't have a problem with this. I can't think if it's a baby that has an actual nap time, like say arm baby. Yeah, that's not distracting a baby. Not when they're ready. Not as they're waking up, or if you're trying to put them down to sleep, that could be distracting. But I think it's more, she just don't like the neighbor, don't want her out there.
I mean, curtains exist. Yeah. You don't want the baby to see her. Get some good curtains, because it says she was recording her through the window and then slammed the curtain shut. But use those curtains, or else get thicker curtains if you really don't want your child to see outside, because she's like disturbing the peace. But this is insane, and that woman is a drama queen living next door.
Oh, absolutely. I would, first of all, I would purposefully go out there now. I would see when you're putting your kid down for a nap, just to go out there and have my
on the balcony.
Yeah, let me get my morning cup of coffee. Let me get my, my smoothie.
Start doing my work calls out there.
Oh my goodness.
I can make it hell.
Look,
if that's what you're looking for, I can make it that.
Oh my goodness. It's one thing if the neighbor's truly being disturbing, or, I remember we lived in our apartment, and it was in downtown, and that apartment, we were on the top level. So I can only imagine the type of noise my two daughters with the little, the push cars and just
running
all of that
from
noise.
One end to the other.
Oh my goodness. And then when we lived in another apartment where we were on the bottom level, it sounded like it was Yetis up there. That lady, doom, doom, doom. And it was just noise all day long. And I get when it's actually disturbing, but
Right.
not when it's. I mean, this is just a life thing, man. Somebody go out to see what the sun looks like, or
Kick back
fresh
with
air.
their coffee and
Yeah.
their tablet, just
Come on, man.
scrolling through, looking at videos or whatever. Like she said, she wasn't even noisy. So reading articles.
The neighbor definitely needs something to do other than put the baby down for a nap, because insane.
All right, next story is, am I the asshole for kicking my brother out after he insulted my wife? First off, just off the title, I love it. Yeah. Okay, protect your wife's peace. All right.
And I'm curious to see how the brother insulted the wife.
Okay, so I, 32 male, have a younger brother, 27 male, who's been staying at my house for the past month. He's between apartments, and I offered our guest room to help him out. My wife, Kara, 30 female, and I have been happy to have him until last weekend. We were all watching TV and having a normal chat when my brother suddenly made a really nasty comment about Kara. For context, Kara recently switched careers to something that makes her much happier and is earning less right now. My brother joked, "Ha ha, you're basically living off my brother, right? What a gold digger." I immediately told him off. Kara looked shocked and hurt. She told him that was a rude and wrong thing to say. Instead of apologizing, my brother doubled down. He said something along the lines of, "Well, I call it like I see it. Maybe if you weren't so lazy and got a better job, you wouldn't have to mooch off my brother."
Yikes.
Okay. So at that point, I got a little mad. I told him to get out of my house if he was going to disrespect my wife under our own roof. He scoffed and said I was overreacting to a joke. It didn't feel like a joke to either of us. Kara was quietly tearing up at this point. Oh, poor thing. I was furious and told him to pack his stuff right now. We got into a shouting match. That's a whole different level of anger right there.
Yeah.
Seeing his wife starting to get emotional over a crappy thing his brother said.
How can you be a house guest that needs some help financially and then insult the people helping you?
That's a whole different level of disrespect.
Son of a biscuit eater.
Now, a few days later, my parents are upset that I kicked him out and he has nowhere to go. They could take him in. They admit that he was wrong, but they think I should have been the bigger person and just talked it out the next day rather than throwing him out immediately. I personally feel I did the right thing standing up for Kara. He is an adult and he should deal with this stuff himself. My brother hasn't apologized at all. He's texted me basically blaming Kara for being sensitive. That makes me even angrier. However, a part of me wonders if I moved too quickly by kicking him out on the spot. No. My wife, for her part, thanked me for defending her and says I did the right thing. My parents say family is family and I should let him come back and just set some rules. I don't want him back unless he genuinely apologizes, which doesn't seem likely right now. So Reddit, am I the asshole for kicking my brother out after he insulted my wife? Wait, my parents live in state-funded housing and aren't allowed more people. So that's why he can't live with the parents.
You're not the asshole. The brother definitely owes you an apology. The insult to a wife or spouse, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever. The insult by itself is terrible, but I'm helping you and you insult me, my wife, crazy. And then how dare you say my wife is living off of me?
Oh, right.
When you're sharing our room, you're not contributing on rent, you're not contributing in groceries.
He called her he said she was mooching.
And then wait. I call it how I see it. Well, pot kettle black. What is this? At least, hey, is a spouse, is a husband and wife. And I know traditionally, it may have one person that works and one person that stays home or something like that. But a wife and a husband, you kind of understand they live there. Like who's ever making the money, however much money's being made, whoever's working, they're living off of one another.
Right. Regardless of the way that they've kind of structured their situation, like who pays for what, who contributes, however, doesn't even matter. When you're the outsider who they've allowed to stay in the home, you don't get a say, or you
For
don't
free.
get to call them
For free. You're staying here for free.
Or call her a mooch.
Wait a minute. She's working so clearly wherever she worked prior to, she's earned money. Now it's like, oh, I want to have a career shift. Maybe it's lesser money. We don't even know how less the money is in comparison, but she's still contributing something in their marriage. You're here for free. You're in a room for free. The bed probably is paid for. Like, unless you're sleeping on the floor in the corner, you're experiencing a warm bed, maybe some food at their expense, maybe cable, Wi-Fi, all of those luxuries for free, and the audacity to say, I call it how I see it. That is so. Yeah, no, he owes the brother and the sister-in-law an apology. And I don't even know if that is enough to say, okay, you can stay here some more while you get back. I don't know.
The way he doubled down is what irks me.
Yeah,
because it's one thing to say it and then kind of be like, oh, it's a joke. It's another thing to say it and then double down, and then double down again and say she was just insensitive.
Right. Because if it was actually a joke, when he recognized that they had took offense to it, he would, oh, I'm just joking.
Right.
But to say, oh, I call it how I see it, no, that's how he feels.
Yeah.
And if you feel that way, then no, you don't get to stay here with me, not contributing. We're helping you out. She's helping you out because whatever was bought with me and her in mind, or the house, the wife and the husband in mind, not the brother.
Right.
So no, not the asshole, buddy. Brother is a what they call a freeloader.
Just calling it like we see it. All right, here's the last story I got for you. Am I the asshole for not letting my brother's kids swim in my pool even after the cops got called? Like, why are we calling the cops?
Trespassing.
I, 32 male, recently bought my first home, complete with a pool. Something I've worked over a decade to afford. I live alone, no kids, and I take pride in keeping the place clean and peaceful. Okay, because we got 3 kids and it's not peaceful.
Or clean all the time.
They are messy. My brother, 35 male, and his wife have 3 kids, 4, 6, and 9. I love them, but to be honest, their kids are a handful. That tracks. Those ages?
Yeah.
Yeah. The last time they visited, they broke a lamp, smeared food on the walls, and one of them even peed behind a curtain as a joke. Where's that funny? I missed the joke.
Do we live in an alley or like peeing behind the curtain? What kind of kids are these? These are these are Bebe's kids.
Not Bebe's kids.
Oh my.
Their parents barely reacted. Okay, that would send me through the roof. If your child just sat here and peed behind my curtain and you're just like, it's kids.
What kind of parent are you for your kid to pee anywhere, not in the bathroom, and you're not upset with them at all?
There has to be a reaction to that.
That should send any parent over the top. Soon as you start going somewhere other than the bathroom, if it wasn't an accident, it should.
Especially looking at these ages, 4, 6, and 9, I would say okay, maybe the 4-year-old finds it funny, but
what 4-year-old is peeing behind curtains?
That's the point. That is a point. Okay, I get that.
Yeah. Oh my.
I'm just trying to figure out who calls it a joke and funny.
And here's what's funny. Maybe it was the 9-year-old peeing behind the curtains.
I was worried. I don't know. Okay. So when they asked if they could bring the kids over to swim, I said no multiple times. I offered to host a barbecue, but made it clear the pool was off limits. I'm not comfortable being responsible for kids in the water, especially with how little they supervise them. because if anything goes wrong, they're gonna look at OP like.
Well, no, it's his fault. It's definitely
legally
liability wise. It's his responsibility.
Okay, so they showed up anyway with the kids and already in swimsuits. When I told them no again, my sister-in-law called me cold and said I was punishing the kids just because I'm bitter and single. He could be happy and single. Why she assume he's bitter?
Maybe I'm punishing your kids because they took a piss behind my curtains and nothing was done about it.
There's that. So my brother told me to stop being dramatic and said, it's family, not strangers. They left furious. Then it got worse. The next day, I came home from work and noticed my backyard gate was ajar. I walked out and found my brother, his wife, and their kids in my pool. No call, no permission. They broke in. I confronted them and told them to get out immediately. They laughed it off and said, come on, it's not that deep. They just wanted to swim. Take them to the local pool. Like, you don't go and violate somebody's trust by saying, well, I'm going to go in here anyway just because my kids wanted to swim here yesterday. And since you wouldn't let them, we came back today when you weren't here so we could do it anyway.
I know they said they're family, but we're going to treat them like strangers. You're peeing in my house behind the curtains. You're trespassing in my backyard, going to my pool. Oh, yeah, no, y'all about to get treated like strangers.
And so he chose to do that. He called the police.
Absolutely.
So I called the police. When the officers arrived, my brother claimed I'd invited them and just forgot. Luckily, I have security.
Yeah.
Luckily, I have security cameras and showed them the footage of them climbing the gate and entering without permission.
In fact, when he said to the officer, it's my brother, I don't know these people, officer. They're strangers.
Look at this video of them.
They're climbing the fence. Clearly, family members wouldn't do that.
Oh, my God. No one was arrested, but they got an official trespass warning. Now my parents are furious with me for dragging the police into a family matter. No. He set the stage early on from the beginning when he said, okay, y'all want to come over? I'll do a barbecue, but no pool. Then they come over. I know you're here in swimsuits, but I said no pool. He said it multiple times. This is beyond just, it's a family matter. This is the brother and his wife choosing to ignore everything that he said.
Let's not talk about the pool. I'm still on the peeing behind the curtains, okay? Where were the parents then? You can't pee in the house behind curtains and then say, well, hey, we want to use the pool. No. Let's talk about these curtains. Let's talk about this peeing in the corner. And why do you have kids that are not potty trained? They're just going in the house in random areas of the pool. It's not even a problem here. Y'all only made the pool the problem when you decided to go to the pool after he said no. You climb a fence, you go to the pool anyway. And then a trespassing warning. I'm pretty sure they just got a warning and told to go home. And now they're just upset that he took it to that level. But you didn't respect his boundaries. You're not respecting, you're not keeping your kids supervised. Parents, you're intervening in the wrong thing here.
All right, so let me keep going. All right, no one was arrested, but they got an official trespass warning. Now my parents are furious with me for dragging the police into a family matter and say I've embarrassed them. I feel like my boundaries were stomped on and my trust shattered, but I also feel a little guilty now that things have blown up. I wouldn't. Am I the asshole for calling the cops on my own brother?
No,
absolutely not.
First of all, I'm curious to understand the boundaries of this family. How can we be embarrassed about me calling the police after you decided to climb a fence that was locked? You don't own the home. You're not a roommate of mine. I didn't give you any free privileges to the pool without me being around. That embarrassed you. but the kid peeing.
I knew you were gonna take it back there.
In the behind the curtains. That is not embarrassing. That should be embarrassing for everybody.
It should be. More so the parents.
Not an asshole. Look, in this case, your brother's an asshole. The sister-in-law's an asshole.
And both the parents.
All three of their kids are little assholes. and
they're a family of assholes.
Look, the kids are assholes not because of their own doing, it's because of their upbringing. It looks like the parents are allowing things that clearly this guy doesn't, feel should be acceptable. You're at his house, you're utilizing his pool.
And he gets to call the shots because it's his
house. Right. Because this is the type of family that if the kids got injured at the pool, they will want to sue him. But now see how you can flip it? Now we're embarrassed. But that looks to be the, judging by the story and how these kids are. But no, you're not the asshole, buddy. In fact, they wouldn't be welcome at my house again. And if I met them, I would, wherever we're going, it's where I meet you guys so I can be ready to leave.
So luckily, if his brother is so pissed at him, that means they won't be around for a while. So enjoy your clean home and your peaceful environment.
Absolutely. Pee free.
Winning.
Pee free.
All right. So that's the last story I've got for you.
Hit the like and subscribe button. Follow along for more.
All right. Bye. Okay. 144. Ugh.
I'm mad at that one talking about some we are embarrassed. Ain't that a bitch?